There is a night in the Bible so violent that most churches will preach every other chapter around it and simply skip this one. A woman is handed over to a mob. Her body is later cut into 12 pieces and sent across the country as a message. And by the end of the story, one entire tribe of Israel has been hunted down to fewer than 600 men. So why would a holy book include something this dark? Was it a mistake left in by accident? Or is there a reason it was never supposed to be comfortable? Stay to the end, because this chapter is not filler. It sits at a hinge point in the whole story of Israel, and once you see why it is there, you will understand something about the entire Old Testament you did not before. The book is Judges. The time period is one of the darkest stretches in the whole Bible, a period with no king, no clear leadership, and a repeating warning line that shows up again and again. Everyone did what was right in their own eyes. A Levite, a kind of priest, is traveling home with a woman the text calls his concubine. Night falls near a town called Gibeah, home to the tribe of Benjamin. Custom said any traveler could expect shelter for the night. At first, no one in the whole town offers them a place to stay, not one household. That detail alone was meant to feel wrong to the original audience. Hospitality was sacred. Gibeah breaks it instantly. Finally, one old man, himself an outsider in the town, takes them in. Then the night turns violent. A mob of local men surrounds the house and demands the traveler be sent outside. The host tries to protect his guest and offers a terrible substitute instead. What happens next to the woman is horrifying, and the text does not shy away from the outcome. By morning, she is dead. The Levite's response is where the chapter becomes almost unbearable. He divides her body into pieces and sends them to every tribe of Israel, a brutal, physical message demanding the nation respond. And the nation does respond. Word spreads. Outrage spreads faster. The other tribes demand that Benjamin hand over the guilty men of Gibeah. Benjamin refuses to give them up. What follows is not a trial. It is a war, and it does not go the way anyone expects. Benjamin, badly outnumbered, wins the first two battles outright, wiping out tens of thousands of the other tribes' soldiers in a single stretch of fighting. Israel is losing a war against one of its own tribes. Only on the third attempt does the tide finally turn. Israel sets fire to Benjamin's own capital city and traps its army outside the burning walls. By the final battles, the tribe of Benjamin is reduced to fewer than 600 surviving men, hiding in the wilderness, their cities burned behind them. Here is where most retellings stop, because the ending only gets stranger. Israel looks at what it has just done and panics. They have nearly erased an entire tribe from existence, and under their own laws, they had sworn an oath not to let their daughters marry into Benjamin at all. So now they face a problem of their own making, a tribe with almost no women left and a vow that blocks the obvious fix. Their solution is almost as unsettling as the war that caused it, involving a raid on a festival and women taken as wives without being asked. The chapter that began with one woman's death ends with an entire new act of violence against many more. By the final verse of the book, the same haunting line returns one more time. In those days there was no king in Israel. Everyone did what was right in their own eyes. So after all of that, one question is left standing. Why would anyone write this down? Why would it survive, uncut, inside a holy book for 3,000 years? Not as entertainment, not as an accident that slipped past an editor. Scholars widely read Judges 19 through 21 as the deliberate final warning of the entire book. Judges opens with Israel mostly faithful and slides, chapter after chapter, into deeper compromise, weaker leadership, and worse decisions. This story is the bottom of that slide. It is placed at the very end on purpose, a closing argument, not a footnote. Every earlier judge in the book had flaws, but by the time you reach Gibeah, there is no judge at all steering the story, no prophet stepping in, no king holding the tribes together, just ordinary people, and the worst version of what ordinary people can become without any shared moral center holding them accountable. That is the real function of this chapter. It is not there to shock you for its own sake. It is there to make an argument in the most forceful way biblical narrative knows how to make one, that a society with no shared standard eventually turns on its own. The very next book in the Bible, 1 Samuel, opens with Israel demanding a king. Judges 19 to 21 is the reason they are desperate enough to ask. So the chapter your church may skip past is not a glitch in the text. It is the book's entire argument, delivered in the most brutal terms it has. The woman, the pieces, the war, the tribe on the edge of extinction, all of it was written down on purpose, because the writer wanted you to feel exactly how far things fall apart without one. Sometimes the darkest passage in the Bible is not the one hiding the truth. It is the one that refuses to look away.